Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. It's all about saving time with Jane. So we're so excited to have you here.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Thank you guys for joining. We're going to give everyone a chance to kind of join, settle in, get connected. So nice to see all of you coming in, though. Perfect. So as we still have some people trickling in and getting settled, I wanted to go over some housekeeping pieces before we kind of jump into our content. So today you'll be able to chat with other attendees, with some of our Jane support staff. You can use either the chat function at the bottom of your Zoom. We also have the Q&A option, so that's a really great place to pop any questions you have, either throughout the webinar, even right off the bat in our support team. We've got some wonderful members here who are going to answer those questions along the way. So feel free to use both of those. Again, they're just the bottom of your Zoom. So either the chat or the Q&A are a great option for you. We also don't want you to worry about taking notes. You don't have to remember everything. A recording of today's session will be sent to you by email for anyone who registered, and then you'll also be able to find this on our YouTube channel later on down the road as well. Perfect. So with those housekeeping pieces kind of taken care of, we also want to start by sharing some introductions in the chat. So we'd love to hear who you are, pop in your name, maybe where you're zooming in from, or your clinic. We'd love to get to know you guys a bit better and also give you all a chance to connect with each other as well. Amazing. Nice to meet you all. Lovely to see where everyone's coming from too. Perfect. And then, of course, we want to introduce ourselves as well. So, to get that started, my name is Isa, and I'm a member of our support team here at Jane. I'm really excited to talk to you about some of my favorite time-saving features that Jane has. I used to manage a multidisciplinary clinic myself, and my mom's also a clinician. So I fully understand the importance of taking your time back, having that good work-life balance, something that always sometimes seems unachievable, but hopefully we'll have some tips for you today. And so, yeah, I know how important it is and how hard it is to do that. So I'm really excited to be here, and then I'll pass it off to my co-host.
Awesome. Thanks, Isa. My name is Blake. I'm a product specialist here at Jane. I've been around for almost 2 years, so it's been quite the ride. Part of kind of my favorite aspect of doing what I do is literally the onboarding, providing demos for potential clinics who want to sign up with Jane. Just the ability to kind of be in the day-to-day with folks such as yourselves who use Jane and hopefully for the benefit of your efficiency. And so I'm really passionate about what we're talking about today because you guys are the real heroes. So thanks for being with us.
Awesome. Thank you, Blake. So, in case you couldn't tell from our little intros, we are both pretty passionate about this topic and about Jane in general. So, let's get into some of those time-saving tips and tricks. And to kick us off, I'd love to kind of hear from you guys. So, how many of you find yourselves working after hours, on your weekends, outside of your working or scheduled hours to get everything you need to done? Feel free to pop your answers in the chat. We'd love to kind of hear your experience, and I'm sure anyone else joining would love to kind of hear from each other. So pop any insight you've got about that down there. I know that for Blake and I being on the support team, it's something we both hear about a lot, either from potential customers or people who use Jane wanting to make it more efficient and use some of these features to cut down on that admin time. And I'm sure that you can all probably relate to both the joy and excitement of welcoming in more clients, seeing your schedule fill up, and then also that realization that that's going to lead to increased after work time, more admin time in general. It's kind of a double-edged sword. You want those clients to come in, and you also want to have that work-life balance still as well. So it is also usually those administrative tasks, that kind of admin stuff that does get left over. It's those emails you need to send or charts that you need to finish. I know when I worked in clinic, my least favorite task was, of course, tracking down patient payments, whether, they no-showed, late cancellations. Sometimes people would just walk out the door, they forgot, and you've kind of got to follow up with all those things. And they're repetitive tasks you have to do, and they encroach on your personal time because they can also really pile up. So time is taken that could be dedicated either back to your patient care or time that you should be spending with your loved ones, your evenings, your weekends, those kinds of things. And our goal with Jane is really to give you that time back. We want you to be able to focus on your patients, and we want Jane to focus on the admin tasks you have to do. With Jane, you don't have to spend your evenings and weekends on those admin pieces because Jane's going to take care of a lot of that for you. I mean, let's just imagine for a second a being able to actually switch off after work. Your last patient leaves, you're done, and then you're actually done. You can just go home. There's nothing left to do. I know that's something we would all kind of love to take to our in our own lives. So Jane's tools really take care of clinic owners, practitioners, front desk staff with features that are specifically designed to drastically cut down the mundane, repetitive, not so fun admin tasks, with Jane taking care of those daily things for you so that you get to spend your evenings, weekends with friends, family, and just doing what you love. So let's kind of take a look at our agenda for today. While everyone does use Jane a little bit differently, today we're going to be kind of focusing on some of our top 5 tools that really boost efficiency and reduce repetition. So we're going to start by setting up a schedule that fills itself using online booking. We're then going to take a look at automatic SMS and email reminders, as well as automatic waitlist management. Then we're going to tackle intake forms. So that's how we can collect more client information. And then finally, we're going to tackle one of our hottest topics, charting. We've got lots of great features to help you finish and sign off those charts quickly and easily. So you can do that during your actual working hours and not in your off time. And right now, we're going to start by jumping into the first 3 of our 5 features. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of imagine that schedule that fills itself. Pretty nice, and already we're cutting down on a lot of our admin work. And of course, I'm talking about online booking. So online booking with Jane makes scheduling super easy for you and your patients. Your patients can get the care that they need when they need it, and they can get it by conveniently booking their appointments online on their own time. It only takes a few clicks for them, and none of it has to be done by you. I know for myself as a patient, I don't always even remember to book appointments during working hours. It's, when I'm off, maybe on my weekends, and I remember I need to book that appointment. And so it also gives me the flexibility as a patient to book what I need when I need it. And it's also a great way for you to control your own schedule. So patients and clients only get to book when you allow it. So your schedule can be super consistent, super flexible, and you get to change it as you need to suit your needs. And by allowing your patients to book in their own time, you're freed up from the emails, calls, back and forth of confirming that appointment, which we know can definitely be a challenge. And then that leads us to our next feature. So speaking of that back and forth, is our automatic SMS and email reminders. So Jane will send these out automatically before your patient's appointment, so you don't have to do a thing. One of the best parts is that you get to customize these reminders for your own tone, your messaging, and you can customize the type of reminders that you want to send out, and then also allow your patients to opt in or out of the different reminder options. The reminders can help reduce your no-shows, your late cancellations. They keep your appointments top of mind for your patients, and you don't have to worry about sending them. None of it is done on your time. Jane will do it all for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, we also know that no matter what we do to, prevent those no-shows, those late cancellations, they do happen. It's a part of clinic life. I'm sure no one here has not had a cancellation happen, but they can leave those unexpected or even awkward gaps in your schedule. And so the third way we can save time with Jane is using our waitlist. So not only is a waitlist helpful, but we also have an automatic waitlist feature that comes in super handy. So it allows your patients to snag an opening as soon as it becomes available, and it also means they get the care they need sooner. You get to maintain your full schedule, and none of the booking or coordinating has to be done by you. Jane's going to take care of everything. So, with those kind of pieces in mind, let's go through an example of this together and do a little demo. So, here I'm in my Jane demo clinic. This is an example of a Jane online booking page. You will see a few pieces I'll point out to you. We can kind of organize it by discipline so patients can very easily and quickly find what they're looking for. Other than discipline, we also can see the different sessions offered under each discipline and the staff members. So maybe I don't know who I want to book with. I just want the next available of an acupuncture appointment. I can just go straight to that. Or maybe I do know who I want to book with. I've been referred to someone specific. So let's go with Zoe here today. We're going to click on her picture and it's going to take me to her page. So I'll see a little bit more about who she is, what she does, the offerings she has, and each discipline. And then all I have to do is click the appointment I'm looking for. So today we're going to book an initial assessment, and that is going to open up Zoe's schedule. Jane will also let me know when the next available is. So if there's nothing this week, Jane's going to jump me straight to where we can book. So now that we're here, I can see that we've got one spot open currently for next week, and that is on a Friday. So I can go ahead and book that right now. I also wanted to draw your attention to our waitlist button here. So right now I can add myself to a waitlist and book an appointment if I want to get something sooner. There's also another way to do it as well. So for now I'm going to leave the waitlist and we're just going to book this appointment and then we'll kind of backtrack to that piece. So to book this appointment, all I have to do is click on that slot I'm looking for, and we're just going to book the one. So I'm going to continue. Now, I will need to have an account, and if I don't have one, I'll need to create one. This is to ensure that you as a practitioner know who's booking into your schedule and you have some of the basic information that you need. So this is my first time booking. I'm going to go ahead and create an account. So now I'll be able to put in my information. I'll be able to put in my name. There are only a few required fields at this point. If we need to collect anything else, there will be the ability to do that later on as well, even requirements. But for now, we just want to make sure that you've got the basics that you need so you can get a hold of these clients if needed, and also have their basic information such as name and phone number. Perfect. So once I filled in those basics, I'll be able to continue and now be able to create my account. So all I have to do is create a username and my password. Once I have done that, I have an account now and I also have booked my appointment. So we are going to get a little box here just asking me right away what I'm interested in receiving, text or emails. This is just to protect our clinics from any anti-spam legislation or laws. So we'll just have that box. We'll save that. Now that I've booked my appointment, you'll also see our reminders listed here. So these, again, are the reminders that are set up by you, the clinic. You get to decide what options you have. And now as the patient, I can see what ones work for me. So maybe I want a 2-hour text and a 24-hour email, but then I'm good. That's kind of what works for me. So I have selected that. I've now booked my appointment. I've set up my reminders, and none of it had to go through the clinic or staff. No extra admin work for you guys. There's a few other pieces here like intake forms. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But we also want to pivot back to that waitlist piece. So maybe this appointment is too far away from me right now. I actually want to get something sooner. I have two options. I can either go back to that booking page where we saw our waitlist button originally, or I can come up to my account area here. So if I go to the My Account area, this is now my secure Jane portal as a patient, so I can see my upcoming appointments. And I can also see this waitlist option. So right now I've got no waitlist requests, but I want to add myself on. So I'm going to click our button here. and it's going to let me fill in what I'm looking for. So I can either choose, maybe I just need the next available something, massage, acupuncture, or maybe I do know who I want to book with. In this case, I'm going to keep using Zoe. So I do want to book with her, and now I will see what her offerings are and which appointment type I would like. And we're going to stick with that initial assessment. Now I get to put in how long I want to be on the wait list for. So my appointment's coming up in about a week, so this feels pretty good. I'll probably won't change that, but I do need to change my hours, so I'm not actually available all day every day. I'm only available for a certain period of time. So we'll put in those pieces so that Jane knows when and when not to let me know about an appointment opening. I can then also choose my days of the week that work for me. So maybe I can't do weekends, we can uncheck those. And then all I have to do is continue. I can also choose how I want to be notified about waitlist openings. So maybe an email's good, maybe a text, maybe I'll do both. Once I continue, I'm now on the waitlist and Jane is set up to let me know once an appointment opens up so that I can snag that when it's available. And now I'll pass it off to Blake.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Isa. That's great. We are learning so much today. So as mentioned, this is now kind of segueing, leading us into our fourth way to save time, as you can see, intake forms. So in Jane, a big selling point is that we're able to move away from commonly used paper forms by utilizing digital forms. You may currently or have previously worked in a clinic with paper forms, and if you have, you know how much time they take to decipher, especially if someone's writing them with my penmanship, to translate them, to carry them over, to store them, to process them, and the list goes on. Digital intake forms offer a ton of benefits for everyone involved. So, for patients, they can fill up the forms from the comfort of their own homes or if they're on the go, not eating up treatment time. For staff, it means less paperwork to manage and more time to focus on patient care for those who are coming in and out. And for practitioners, it means having all the necessary information in a clear, organized format, which leads to better prepared appointments. Again, more time spent actually treating patients and less time sitting around waiting for a form to be filled out. Jane's intake forms are fully customizable, including options for different treatments and practitioners. So this means that especially where maybe you are a multidisciplinary clinic, you offer a variety of services that, certain forms would only be relevant for certain types of treatments. You can set that up that way, where this form goes to this treatment, this form is for this treatment. So whether it's medical history, insurance details, or specific treatment preferences, you can tailor the form to fit your practice's unique needs. If a patient or a client forgets to complete their intake form, you also do not have to lift a finger. Jane will automatically send them a reminder until this has been completed. Once they do, this information, whether it's contact or demographic information or other personal medical info, this will automatically transfer over to their patient profile, meaning there's no need to spend time copying and pasting this from one place to another. Aside from this, one of my favorite ways to use intake forms is to collect payment information for automated payment processing. So this would be for any clinic who has signed up for Jane Payments, which means that you are able to process payments right in Jane, and that money is going to directly be deposited into your own bank account. So once you've signed up for this, you can use these forms to gather credit card info. As well, you're also able to use the forms to gather insurance policy information. This would be for those clinics who have added insurance as an add-on to their subscription. When you have all the payment information up front, you won't have to take treatment time to copy down insurance cards, to input those credit card details manually, and you're able to process payments whenever it suits you. So maybe it's right before they come, maybe it's right after they leave, and maybe it's even later on in the week. Not to mention, having this info up front allows you to process late cancellation or no-show fees in the event that someone doesn't show up. So rather than, you hunting someone down to try to get money, as Issa said, we've always had, many of us have had those types of people who've last minute decided to drop out. So you can have that preset so that you've already got their credit card information. With a click of a button, you can process that payment and collect on those fees. Awesome. So I'm actually going to head into our demo clinic here, and I'm just going to show you what it will look like to actually set up an intake form in Jane. So you'll want to head to settings at the top of your page, and then we're going to scroll down to forms and surveys. And once we're on this page, we're going to click on the view forms button along the right-hand side of intake forms. And then we're going to click new intake form. From here, the big thing to make note of is that you can choose to set these forms up either as automatic or manual. If, let's say, you have a really niche form and you kind of want to be picky about who you're sending it to and when you're sending it, you can set this to manual, and then Jane will give you that flexibility. But on the other hand, if you want to save yourself from doing any work, you can set this to automatic. And then, as I mentioned earlier, once we head over to this appointment type tab, we can specify who Jane is going to automatically send this form to. So maybe it's literally everyone who comes into the clinic, or maybe it's actually a more specialized form. So we want to pick a specific treatment. For our sake, we're going to say it's a new patient initial visit. And then I know that it's only those who are booking into that appointment that will automatically be sent this form. Beyond that, we are also able to collect on profile information. As mentioned, this will automatically transfer over to their profile. So you can collect things like name, email, address, phone number, and if you want, and if you prefer, you also have the ability to make these required fields. So essentially, if I wanted a mobile phone to have to be on my patient profile, Jane is not going to allow them to move on until they fill out that text field. Once this looks good to me, I'm going to pop over to my credit cards tab. And again, I have the option to either not ask for a card. I can make a credit card required. So again, they won't be able to submit the form without including that. Or I could simply say, hey, you don't need it to book, but it's going to be optional and you can include it if you want that on file. I'll go ahead and make it required. And from here, I'm going to pop over to our insurance information tab. So if I'm utilizing insurance, what you're able to do here is actually collect an image of someone's policy. So kind of the front and back of their card, I can opt to have that. Or if I just want them to fill it out manually, we can choose, which insurers we're wanting them to select from, and then giving them space to fill out their maybe policy number or their ID number. And again, that automatically goes right onto their profile. So then if you are utilizing direct billing in Jane, when they come, Jane already has that policy attached. And again, with a click of a button, you can submit those claims and have that happen right away. Once we get to the questionnaires tab, this is kind of where the bulk or the meat of the form is going to be set up. And so I do want to draw attention to our template library. Now, this template library, it's sorted by discipline. What it is, it's a kind of exhaustive library that includes templates that have been submitted by real Jane users such as yourself. So as we can see here, if I was an acupuncturist, I can click on that discipline. And then we see that this has been submitted by a clinic, and these are sorted by popularity. And so in this case, over 2,000 people have used this. So then if I want to look and, hey, this is an intake form, it suits my needs, I could also use my search box here to type for kind of what I'm looking for exactly. Jane's going to allow you to preview it. And I might say, hey, this is actually great for what I need. I can click my insert button and continue. And then voila, this automatically gets added to my form. And from here, it becomes mine. So I have the ownership to edit, to remove, to add. So let's say I want to change something. I can remove that and press save. So again, you can see how long it would actually take to create something like this. I'd be scrolling for years. But Jane gives you the option to add this. And again, just becomes a huge time saver. Lastly, within intake forms, we have our consents tab. So Jane already pre-populates these forms with some default ones, basically just consents that you may want your patients to sign off on. And it gives you the option to require signature as well. So bottom of the form, I'm a patient, I can choose yes, I'm going to sign my name digitally, and then Jane will allow them to submit their form, and you have that written consent on file. There we go. Once I'm done with that, I can click my Save Intake form. And this now becomes one of the forms that I'm able to use because I've set it to automatic. It's already going to start populating for any of those patients who've booked that type of appointment. Awesome. Alrighty, so once that intake form is filled in, As I mentioned, all the information does get added to the client's profile. So if it's kind of their demographic or contact info, it's going to be on the main page of their profile. But any other information they're providing, it's actually going to live in their charts section. This is kind of a perfect segue into our fifth and last time-saving tool that we're going to chat about today. That is charting. So charting is an essential part of clinic life, but it's often not a favorite task. It can be a need to do rather than a want to do, and I know that it can be incredibly time consuming. Many practitioners find themselves completing chart notes long after their working hours, which ultimately cuts into personal time, maybe even increases stress. So to help cut down on time in charting, Jane is designed to help practitioners finish their chart notes at work instead of needing to take them home. One of Jane's charting standout features is, again, that template library. And so we've already looked at that, but not only does it allow you to include intake templates, but as well charting templates for those day-to-day use. Once you open a chart, you'll also see that you can add in components and customize these in just a few steps. So you can utilize dictation. This is actually where you use your device's microphone to dictate voice into text notes, as well as we have phrases and smart options. So where you can kind of do a shortcut and Jane's automatically going to populate a longer phrase. Aside from this, duplication features enable you to easily copy relevant information from previous notes, again, ensuring consistency and saving you time. My final charting tip is to use surveys with treatment plans. So with automated pre-appointment questionnaires and follow-up check-ins, you can actually monitor patient progress and gain insights into their care as they go. So these tools eliminate the need for manual outreach. It makes it easier for you to keep track of patient outcomes. And then you can also adjust your treatment plans as you're going along. I do want to showcase a bit of our charting features as well. So I'm going to pop back into our demo clinic here. And let's say as a staff member, I've already kind of created my own template. Maybe I use the template library, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm just ready to chart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to my Patients tab. And once this loads, I'm going to find my patient in the list. And let's say we're going to work with Lily today. I'm going to pop over to her chart. And as you can see, she's already begun a treatment plan. We can actually see that there have been 2 appointments assigned to this treatment plan. And so if I click on that, it opens the folder, and it looks like she hasn't attended either of these appointments yet. Jane allows you to track these appointments. So let's say you had an even larger one, someone with maybe 10 appointments. As they keep coming on and you're able to sign off on those charts, you'll see that increase as you go. So, 2 out of 10 appointments finished, 5 out of 10 appointments finished. Beyond that, if I just wanted to create a simple chart template or a chart entry, I would select this new chart entry button. I can see any of the ones that I've already created are included for me to just choose automatically. And I can also select my survey questionnaires to fill out on behalf of a patient as well. Let's say I just want to start with a simple note. These are pretty easy to edit. I'm just going to click my title here. If there's a certain question I want to ask, I can do that. And then this is where I would type this out on behalf of the patient as well. Once I click my Add Item button, I'll see all the different tools that Jane's going to give you access to. So there's quite a few. A few that I really enjoy are the body chart is one of them. As you can see here, this comes pre-populated with an image that Jane offers you, but this also is able to be replaced. And so let's say you want a different part of the body, or I know some clinics will often submit a face image that you can kind of make points on as well. When you have this uploaded, you're able to use our pencil tool to make markings. You can point to different areas of the body, or if I actually want to write written notes to kind of correspond with the image, I can also choose to use my pointer and pick different spots, and I can begin typing notes here. Once I'm finished with that, I can go to a second area and you'll see that Jane's going to generate a second text box. So pretty cool. Beyond that, we have this sketch pad, which maybe you're one of those few that you're just so hung up on the written pen and paper and you want to kind of be able to still kind of utilize that type of function. Jane allows you to, especially if you have something like an iPad or a tablet, to kind of manually draw on this piece of paper here. So as you can see, I'm not even going to finish that with my atrocious penmanship, but it is a handy way to add notes there. Lastly, I'm just going to point out we do have checkboxes and drop-down menus. So again, these are just huge time savers where you can include, let's say you wanted to add symptoms, and rather than having to type things out, you can just choose 1, 2, 3, or 5. I would include some symptoms there, and then as I'm charting for the individual, I get to check them off and I don't have to type a thing. Once I'm finished with my chart note, I'm just going to click my sign button to say, hey, this is finished. I'm done writing that. And then one thing that I love about charting in Jane is that you are able to easily filter through. So let's say maybe you have a chart note that you didn't sign, it's in draft mode. It's going to kind of get buried in there as you go. But now you're coming way later and you're like, hey, I don't know if I finished that. I want to check to see if I have any unfinished or unsigned chart notes. I can use this filter option to view any of my draft mode charts. It's going to pull up and say no entries, so I can know, phew, I'm good to go. All my charts have been signed. Awesome. All right, I'm going to pull us back into our slide presentation here, and I'm going to pass it over to Isa.
Perfect. Thank you, Blake. So lots of great tips and tools, kind of looking over those 5 features there. We also know how valuable your time is. And with Jane, we want you to have the support that you need and get speedy answers to your questions. So you can get home in time for dinner. You're not spending your after work hours trying to figure things out or get those answers that you're looking for. So just as so you guys know, our average call wait time is only 2 minutes, so you can get really quick answers from us that way. We also know that sometimes a phone call in the middle of your working day isn't always possible. You're busy. And so we also have email support as well as live chat and multiple options to make sure you get the support you need when you need it. All of Jane's plans, I should say, come with unlimited support and human support. So you're never talking to a computer, you're always talking to a real person. Blake and I are both in the support team. We answer calls, emails, chats every day. So you never know if you call in, you might get one of us on the other end. But whether it's just a quick question, in-depth assistance, our support team is here to help you every step of the way. You're never on your own. We also want to make our hours as accessible as possible. So that includes time on Saturdays you can call in or email in. We want to make sure that, yeah, you've got all the options because we know how busy clinic life can be. And then we also have so many resources. So maybe you are just looking for a really quick answer, or you're more of a do-it-yourself type of person. We offer a variety of guides, resources, checklists, webinar library, Jane University as well. These are all great options for you that are designed to help you make the most of Jane's features and find the answers that you need quickly. I also want to draw attention to our Jane community. This is a peer-to-peer group where you can connect with other practitioners, front desk professionals. It is full of really practical advice on Jane or even just general clinic operations. If you're even thinking about Jane or curious, you're really welcome there. It's a really great place. So many people have made the switch and they share their experiences, where they've moved from, how they navigated that process, and they're always so open and welcoming and always up for chatting if you're curious or have any questions. And then we also have another Facebook group specifically for our US insurance friends. We know how challenging that can be. So if that is sounds like you, if that's part of your day-to-day clinic life, we've got that dedicated group and space just for you. It is truly a wealth of knowledge and expertise. Lots of people who are there to help you with any questions that come up about that. So just feel free to join those groups if you'd like. And then let's recap what we talked about today, because we covered a lot. It's a lot of information. But to summarize, Jane is here to help you. We want to help you with your admin work so that you can do more of what you love, whether that's spending time with your family, enjoying some me time, dedicating more time to your patient's actual care, Jane is designed to make your life easier. And kind of the five tools we looked at today were that online booking, so that's schedule that fills itself. You don't have to worry about it. The SMS and email reminders, so those go automatically. That waitlist management, that those gaps that pop up, Jane will take care of those too. The intake forms, you can gather that client information easily, quickly, gather those credit card numbers. And then, of course, charting, that task that can be very time consuming. We've got lots of really great tips and tricks to make charting so much easier for you. And we'd also love to hear from you. There is going to be a poll up in a couple of minutes here by one of our support members, just to gather some feedback about how this session was for you, anything you'd like to see. We really, really value it. So please, if you don't mind taking a minute to fill that out. And then we also want to let you know some next steps. So if you are interested in learning more, you're welcome to book a one-on-one demo. That's someone on the support team. We'll kind of go over Jane, give you more of a tour. You can kind of focus in on any features you're really curious about. And then we also have an upcoming webinar all about switching to Jane. So if you want to see more about that import process, the setup process, we would love to see you there. So feel free to scan either or both of those QR codes if you're interested in either of those pieces. And then we just want to say thank you so much for attending. We hope it was helpful and informative. As Blake said at the beginning, too, you care for your communities, you do so much work for your communities. And so we appreciate all the work that you do. And we want to give a little bit of that back. And hopefully, you took something away that was helpful and can help you streamline some of those practice pieces and that admin work and have a better work life balance.
Thanks you guys so much for joining. This was super fun, and we'll see you later.